Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island. My co-host Tina Bird. I'm going to let her say hi. Greetings, Tina.
Hi, Tommy. Hello to everyone out in. Oh God, what's happened there? Sorry. Hello to everyone out in Hawaii, UK, America, Canada, everywhere around the world that's watching this. I know we have a few viewers in other countries that do watch this. So hello to everybody. We've got a good show for you tonight. If you'd like to go onto the show, Tommy's going to put his email up in a second. Or comment on the show and we'll get you in. If you'd like to ask any questions, please do so. You can speak to me or Tommy, ask us anything you'd like. And here in the UK, it's been really quiet. The only few things that have been different is that as of next week, they're changing the law. They're going to refine and have a look at people doing podcasts from the UK. So I'm not sure how it affects me and Tommy or how it affects millions of other people that broadcast from the UK. And I'm not quite sure what policy they're reviewing, but we'll soon find out. So why do people want to go onto UFO? That's our headline for tonight. So if you'd like to know that, I'd be interested in that because I don't think I'd like to set foot again on a UFO. And people that do say they want to go onto a UFO, I think they're crazy. I can understand scientists saying things like that, but going onto UFO is not something that you think it is. So it's not like you can walk on, have freedom to walk about. When you do, you're laid down, you're subdued, you can't say or do anything. So there's a big difference between what you think is going to happen and what actually happens. But yeah, so from Southampton here in the UK, we're broadcasting to Hawaii and Tommy Hawksblood. So like I said, guys, please come on, let us know that you're there. Please like, follow, subscribe and share. My book's out now on Amazon. It's £10. There it is up there. The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction, and I had number 10 in the Amazon Storyteller Awards, which was that one, and I also have that one and another book. So guys, please buy them. They're £10 on Amazon, free on Kindle Unlimited, and you can buy them on Kindle as well. Apart from that, it's 10 weeks to Christmas, and so things are catching up. So we're going to do a roundup for the last few weeks of the year. We've got another 10 weeks yet. I think it's another 7 or 8 shows before the end of another year, which would be great. And I've had a few people contact me that wanting their cases investigated. So that's something now I'm looking at. Since I broke my leg, I've been at home. So I'm off for another 6 weeks. So I'll be trying to look at bits and pieces and put some stuff together. But as always, it takes time. Please come on and speak to me and Tommy. We've got another just under an hour. So yeah, we've got lots to talk about. Please come on and let us know. Tommy. I'll be back in a sec.
So, the topic is being invited on a ship versus being pulled on a ship, and then wanting to go on a ship.
I can't see your picture. There you go.
All right, and wanting to go on a ship, which a lot of people do. When I was lecturing, people say, "Oh, I wish I could get on a ship." I said, "They don't do anything good on a ship. Well, people don't want to know the truth." I'm sorry, I got to go to the dentist sometime in the near future. I've been waiting 6 months already. But Hawaii Medical is horrible here. You wait so long for an appointment.
Sorry, just to let you know, your music's still playing.
It's not. Is it that loud? Hold on, let me get rid of it anyway. So, the first thing is, how many people want to see a UFO? If you all do, text me. I'll send you a free manual how to see a UFO. And at least that way you can tell yourself, wow, I saw a UFO. Then from there you can determine how much further you want to go with that. But to say you never saw a UFO when you're over us all day, all night, all the time, and you never saw one, it's time that you do see one. I'm not just talking about watching satellites or shooting stars and things like that. But there are ships over us. And it's time that we start seeing and listening to what's going on around us. I mean, we're very close to a major war worldwide. And it's all planned, people. It's not like it's, oh, well, we're not going to go to war. Well, my partner is so worried about China coming into the United States, which could happen any day. But Biden was with Putin, and now they're saying we gave too much money to another country. So anything we do will never be appreciated by the mass of people. All right. So it's up to each and every one of us to decide where we're going to go, how we're going to vote, what we're going to do, if anything. But remember, if you don't do nothing, you're just as much to blame as everybody else that's creating it. I mean, not to get religious, but Jesus said, if the laws are what they are, you have to live by them. But if they're unjust, you change them. And we need to do that. Most of the laws on the book don't fit people, all people. I mean, it fits the rich people, but it doesn't help us. So, Tina, do you want to start about people that you know that talk about, oh, I want to be on a ship, or anything like that?
Well, actually, believe it or not, it's not till I go to do lectures or talks or I go somewhere and people recognise me or they stop me and they'll have a quick chit chat. But they'll either say, oh, Tina, I'm in your camp. And I'm like, what do you mean in my camp? They're like, oh, yeah, one of those. But they don't want to say it out loud. But when you're at like expos or giving talks and lectures at a huge event or a big event, people will then say, what is it like being on a UFO? Or I wish I could be abducted to go. I'm like, people don't understand. So it's not till I give my lectures that I tell people and describe what it's been like for me. It may not be like that for everyone, but that's what it was like for me. And I said, you really want to put yourself in a position where you're taken against your will. You could possibly be subjected to torture, radiation poisoning. It could affect your brain, your fertility. They take DNA from you, sperm and ovum. They drill holes inside your body without your consent. And you want to put yourself through basic torture. So anyone that does say, yeah, I want to be abducted by aliens, I'm like, yeah, you need a psychiatric evaluation because that's things there just aren't quite right. Because people don't realise, I think they think it's all voluntary and nicey and things like that, and it's not. The harsh reality is these things come unimpeded, uninvited into our airspace, bringing radiation with them, God knows what other bacteria, infection, poisoning or anything you can get. Drill holes into your organs or into your bones and take samples and tissues, which leaves you with arthritis and pain. You're horrified. You can't blink. You can't look away. They don't ask you, "Oh, is this okay? Does it hurt?" It's like drilling into you and getting on with it. We're nothing to them. So, and you want to sign up for that. Well, in the interest of science, I can understand. If you want to give it a go, and But I think a lot of people have been abducted and don't realise that I have seen, and I keep saying this, I have seen hundreds upon hundreds of people up there. I've seen them all. They're all awake but asleep, so they're up there, or they've been up there and they just don't remember it. So, but being on a ship, I would never want to go back. But for people who hasn't had the experience, you probably have and don't realise it is actually horrifying. Something that is traumatizing. But what you don't seem to realise is they took me as a child. Would you want them taking your child against your will at 6 years old and drilling holes in their legs and pelvis? How would that make you feel? So just think of that thought first before you say something crazy. Your mouth's engaged, but your brain hasn't really thought about it. You do get, oh yeah, I'd love to be abducted by aliens. That proved to me that they're real. Well, they are real. They are here. The Navy's proved that they're real. The government's proved that they're real. You've got video footage. You've got pictures. You've got eyewitness accounts, written statements. Other countries, millions of other people have seen them. You've got everything from the common person on the street to policemen, astronauts, admirals. So these things are real. This is happening. They said the next step is origin and intent, to find out where they're from and what's happening. Perhaps they, like many people said, they've been here all along, or perhaps before us, or they put us here. That is down to them to find out. But as an abductee, I can only tell you what it's been like for me. And then once you've been on a ship, when these people say that there's consequences to saying things like that. So once you say, "Oh, I've been on a ship, or I want to be abducted," then like, well, if you want to be abducted, it's belief is an act of faith. UFOs are real, but once you've been on them, what are you going to tell everyone? I was abducted because I wanted to be abducted. How stupid is that going to sound? I understand, like people like Travis Walton. I do believe when they took Travis, that was by accident. I'm not sure they knew they did something, or they realised they wounded him. They weren't sure what they had to do with Travis. I think that was a genuine mistake. Mistakes happen to the best of us and all of us, but they're not a mistake on Travis's part, on their part. But when it's deliberately, or they come across you like Whitley or me, they just come across you. Or they've been following for years. You got not a story to tell. You wanted to warn everybody. It's like, don't go near UFOs, don't go on them. But what happens if that actually happened? Oh, I want to go on a UFO. What happens if that did happen? You said it one day, and the next night they came and took you. What would you then say to the world? People are going to think you made it up. You're crazy. Why didn't you bring evidence back? You say you wanted to go. Why weren't you ready? I don't think people are ready for the questions after. They don't engage their brain. Tell me.
Well, I was just talking to a man a little while ago, and he says he's working with the good aliens. I said, okay, ask them to give you one thing: a shoe, a pen, a weapon, anything. Name one little thing to give to you. Now, one person comes back with a gift from aliens. And I said, if they're so friendly, how come they can't give you anything? Even seeds to grow a new plant, anything important. But in the interim, I work with thousands of people, and it's not like, oh, well, 5 people, 10 people. I mean, over and over. It's the same story, people. Either they're totally unaware what happened, which is called missing time, or they vaguely remember being strapped to a table. But the details, I mean, they might say there was something going in their eye, something going in their neck, something going in their chest. But a lot of the stuff they don't remember. And to say that it was a good trip. Now, I'm so glad that we got Tina out there, because she's one of the few people that'll bring the truth out in the UFO world, which is disappearing, about how bad aliens really are. Oh, well, not this alien. I work with the good ones. What's a good alien? What do they do for you? Nobody can prove one thing, how good they are. I mean, in my life, and I've been doing this since I was 6 years old, not one person proved that an alien was good. And nowhere in history does it say, oh, the good aliens gave us gold, built our city in a good way, or anything like that. Never mind all the pyramids and everything. Those people aren't alive. So all the work that people did, for what reason? It didn't help them. So when I say people coming out in the UFO world are dangerous, because that word that we don't like here is called experiencer. And these people get abducted or not. It could be a dream, bad dream. But if they do get abducted, they're reprogrammed so that they don't know what really happened. When they're on a ship, they don't remember anything that really happened, and they get this program in their brain that was put in there. Oh, it was a good trip, like Corey Good. Listen to his story. Oh, they show me the past, present, and future. If they can show you all that, they can put whatever they want in that vision that they're showing you. And if that's the case, they're not going to show you them eating everybody, destroying anything, or doing anything bad. If you want to win people over, you don't say, I'm a bad guy and I'm going to destroy your town. You say, oh, look, I'm going to help you rebuild it. Aliens aren't robots, but the government's making a lot of robots. So we're going to have a lot of robots walking around the streets, but that's a bad thing. But when I get to these people, and missing time, which is what I work with more so than not, because they don't know what went on. Well, I was in the car and I looked, and it was like 3 hours later, 4 hours later. What happened? And I said, well, let's find out. So when I work with those kind of people, it's always, well, a light came over them, and then they remember being in the ship and something was happening. But it's really vague because they already blocked out most of the event, and they're just tapping into some of the things that the subconscious mind can't be reprogrammed. So when you work with the subconscious mind, you can get a lot more out of a person than when their physical mind's trying to talk. So I got so much information. I mean, I wasn't writing books about it. I wasn't trying to make money off of it. I was just trying to help people get over the idea of what happened and what was going on. If I had the time, I could have worked with hundreds more people all the time. Even my lawyer, I was going to court against the phone company. And at the end of it, he goes, I want you to come in, stay here after everybody leaves. And then he tells me he has missing time. He was with his wife in a car, and a light came over him. And they both opened their eyes, and it was like 4 hours later. So people all over have the experience, but most of them in a higher level, job-wise, can't talk about it. I mean, they don't want to hear it. I mean, there's certain things you can say in a business and a lot of things you can't. I work for a phone company, and I was harassed at least 10 years about aliens and everything else. I mean, a few people believe me and everything else, but when I left, they made a cake with all these little aliens around it, a goodbye cake when I retired. So, yeah, it was a trip. But you get more negative comments than positive comments.
I've got a question for you, Tommy, and John in the chat room as well. I've got a question for both of you. Not that you can relive time. If it happened again tomorrow and you were allowed to speak, so we were abducted tomorrow, me, you, and John, and you went onto a UFO, what one question would you ask them if you were allowed to speak? Don't forget that you're not allowed to speak when you go onto UFOs. It's very difficult.
First thing
if you communicate with them, what question would you ask them, Tommy?
I'd say, can I shake your hand? And then if he did, I'd strangle him. That would be the first thing I do. Never mind ask him anything, because there's nothing he can tell me that I want to hear. And people believe they're going to come here and give us good information? Oh, yeah, well, your father's dead, and I'm going to take him to Mars. What good they can ask him about God, they don't know. So that's another useless question for aliens. They believe they're God. They convinced the Mayans, the Aztecs, and everybody else that they were gods. So
I think Tommy's. So I'm not. I like religious history. Don't get me wrong, and I respect other people's choices and beliefs. But I think somewhere along the line, due to their advanced technology, things they could do, people thought that they were gods. I don't think that they said they were gods. They may have done. I wouldn't know. I don't know. But from my perspective, I've not been told that. Just my perspective, I think that because it was so long ago, there is no proof of God. It's we believe in God, or in God we trust, or what have you. But perhaps there was a being, but I believe at some point that if they were aliens, then I think because I believe human beings have a soul, and the essence inside them. That's what you take with you into the afterlife when you go. The essence you are. So your body's a vessel, and you have a soul. I think they knew more about death in the afterlife and rebirth than humans did. We lost it along the way. And because they could tell humans the path either to enlightenment or to go on to be reborn or different light, or the humans could see the things they do and the knowledge they held, perhaps they thought that they were God that way. But if I was taken and I had one question to ask, it would
probably... What are you going to ask me?
Oh, I'm going to ask you.
Go ahead, ask me the question.
It would be, why me? Why have you done this?
Because your blood tastes good. Why not? What kind of answer would be beneficial or useful to you?
I don't like an answer. I would like an explanation. I think I would like one of their digital come quick mind explanations to show me, or how many times have you actually done it? Because I'm sure they've taken me.
My book is done, and it's about abuse.
Yeah.
All right. Ask a girl to ask this guy that raped her, why did you rape me? I mean, it's the most ridiculous question, because they're perverted, they're twisted, and they really don't care about your feelings.
Just to answer John's question, John, you're free to ask a question. When they take you, you don't. I have moved around the ship once, but that was after many years. I think they have to trust you. There's some issue of trust over that, but they wouldn't let you steal an artifact. There's nothing to hand to steal on ships. They probably do have stuff, but you'd have to be free to walk around. So I don't think that would really happen on a one-off event. But there's been other people. There was a reported retired Navy or Army military photographer in America who lived next to an army base in a caravan. And I think the FBI or someone went there after his death, and he kept telling them that he had pictures of aliens. Like they went there, and his caravan was full of artifacts, and he had pictures. But they let him. He became friends with these beings and these creatures over time, and he took pictures of them landing. He took videos. He took pictures on the ship, and they all took these little objects. They said they looked like wood, but they weren't. They looked like these little objects that they gave this photographer over many years. And I believe they went in there and cleared his caravan out after all. But apparently, when they went in there, they did find these pictures. So there's one person that was allowed to walk about that befriended him and greeted him, and for some reason, but I don't know.
I had a friend that I brought on a couple years ago. He's one of the few people that has an actual artifact from a ship. His friend shot the ship, and knocked a piece off of it. And he has the piece, and I saw it. He won't let anybody take it. But it looks like a pine cone, but it's about this big. Comes pointy, comes real wide, and it looks like rows and rows around it. So he had 16 metal companies analyze it. They said it cannot be made on this planet with the metal that it was made out of. They said they can mold that with lead, but they can't create that with any other kind of metal. And he cherishes it, but his friend was killed when he got that piece. So, again, next to John Lennon, I mean, he asked about John Lennon. John Lennon was given a piece. I don't know the inside story. I never got to talk to John personally about it. I mean, I just wrote his wife a letter yesterday and this morning. Because all she talks about is peace. Give peace a chance. But again, that's where she is. I said, you're on the wrong planet. We're not in the phase of going into peace in any level. But I said, it would be nice to know what John really said to you, if anything, about UFOs or aliens. But I don't think he talked to her about it. And I don't know if he was really with her when that happened. But I do know a person that was good friends with John Lennon. And he's my brother's drummer. And they used to play together. He ended up getting John Lennon's ranch and all that. I talked to him about it, but he's a lot older than me, and he can't remember much now. But I did ask him way back, because when he was drumming with John Lennon, he was really close. And John Lennon went through a period where he hated aliens. So how did he get an artifact and still hate aliens? I don't know. I wish I did. But that's a kind of weird situation. I saw the object. Uri Geller has it. He keeps it in his pocket day and night. Won't let anybody take it, touch it. But he says he knows John Lennon wouldn't lie to him.
I've been to with my mum about 4 years ago to John Lennon's house in Liverpool. I went with my mum, and they do guided tours to his house. There's a plaque on his house, and you can go up to the house where he lived as a kid growing up in Liverpool. I've been there.
Well, that's cool. He was probably the most important singer when I was little. And the person I worked with when I was working with John Edmund, he's the one that killed 18 Grays, supposedly. Well, he was on that street when John Lennon got killed. So in New York City, yeah. So, but see, my friend who was killed last year, he had a picture of the triangle that they said was lights, flares, and all this stuff. It was out from that time at night to the morning. He lived up in the mountains, and it was coming over the mountain early in the morning. And he got a picture of it. He had a lot of cool pictures. I wish I could have got some from him before he died. But his wife didn't like any of it because she was being abducted. They came into her house, and they would take her. What he ended up doing was handcuffing her to the bed. He was doing all these weird things trying to keep her from getting abducted. I said the first thing he should have did was move. If he was on a land that was not just being visited by aliens, but there was all kinds of entities and demons. I took a medicine woman with me there, and we actually...
I think they can trace you, because even though they took me from a young age from my parents' house, even when I moved, when I was married, they managed to take me from my...
They'll always know where you are, Tina. Now that the mainstream, they could just pull up the newspaper. Where's Tina today? But seriously, you had a couple of implants removed, but that doesn't mean you're not going to put more inside you. Now, in the Army, the government put chips in every single person that goes into the Army now. And that chip could take them out whenever they want, or they can find wherever they are whenever they want. So again, you make a second lieutenant, captain, colonel, whatever, you're chipped, and they keep an eye on you because they had too many whistleblowers coming out and things like that. Now they just make you sick if they don't want you to talk. I mean, it's not like the days like Stephen Greer. Well, they offered me $3 billion to walk away from the UFO world. Only a sick, perverted, twisted ego would walk away from $3 billion. He could save part of the world with that kind of money, never mind walk away from the UFO world. Guess what? It'd be more important to save children and save other lives and talk about aliens and let's talk to them. So, I mean, if you ever look at his face, he looks like an alien to me. And he doesn't look straight. Look into his face when he's talking. I'm open to a debate with him anytime, any place, anywhere. I would debate him live. Because offline, it wouldn't mean anything because he's just an idiot. He wouldn't prove anything he could say. But again, talking to aliens, which is the biggest thing now, and more people believe it. Even Tibetan people up in the mountains are doing meditation to talk to aliens. So, and my partner says, well, don't worry about it. No, I worry because it takes one person to corrupt people's minds. And that's how you get a following. And when you get a following, more people follow you. And Stephen Greer has a pretty big following in the UFO world. Many people think he's a clone and everything else, which he's something weird. But again, he has multiple people following him. He's picking up Congress, government people that work for the government. But none of them have real evidence. Isn't that funny? You know, if I'm going to come out and say I was looking at alien operations, I'd have a picture of it. Even when I was 6 years old, they had these teeny little cameras you could buy for like $2 at the time. You put this little roll of film in it and everything else, you stick it in your collar. I was little. I mean, there was always a way to take pictures. And to say that they couldn't take pictures of this or anything else. When you work in the mint, they put this white suit on. You have to take everything off and go through. Because when you come out, you can't have anything on you. But you're talking about aliens. Again, people have the ability to do a lot of things. And if they talk big stories, you need to come out with something a little more important than, well, I saw it. You saw what? Were you dreaming? Were you doing drugs? And when you say aliens, well, were you drinking that night? When the homeless people in Jersey used to say they saw this creature walking around the thing, this guy had too much to drink. We had a Bigfoot that roamed Atlantic City, and he would go into the dumpsters and take food out of there. And the homeless people were out in the streets. And if you ever went to Vegas, Atlantic City, they're all over the streets. And it's horrible. But again, their stories were always bad. If you listen to them, X-Files, the second X-File on TV was based on a Jersey creature. And they showed it, but at the end they show it being born, another one. They killed the one, but another one came. But that's the way it is. We didn't wipe out Sasquatch. But what put more, I don't know, good, bad ideas into my mind, the special that was on TV last week, and it was about Russia. It was about Hitler and Stalin. Videos and pictures of them working with these giant creatures and trying to convert them and hybrid them with humans and stuff. For real. And this was how long ago? People, when we say we're still trying to believe that there's a Bigfoot, Russia was way ahead of us in that game. And they had one, but it killed too many people. And it ended up dead. But I guess that's when the whole project crashed. It's like making a robot. When we find out the robot's going to start killing people, guess what? We're going to have to rethink what we did. But it'll be like all the movies out there. The robots take control. Once they do get control, when AI takes power over us, we're in trouble. People don't understand that. When we go to war and they talk to the computer, it says blow them up. What are we going to do? Oh, I don't want to listen to the computer? No, they're going to listen. And that's going to be a serious problem real soon. Mr. Musk, I write him a letter every day. All he talks about is going to Mars. People, we don't need to go to Mars. We have so many things going on here.
About the Earth, let alone Mars. John's got a question for you about Sean in the box.
Sean David Martin's still alive, people. He's hanging on. I have no clue why, but he was supposed to be turned off on Sunday, but he moved his finger and he opened his eye. So his wife's praying, everybody's praying. This one spiritual lady claims to be top spiritual lady is doing healing work. Oh, and she's bringing him back. And people are going to take credit no matter what happens to him. If he dies, everybody's going to go hiding. But if he survives, comes out of it a little more, he's not going to come back fully because he was in a coma, and they're going to put him back in a coma again and do another operation on him. But it's sad because he was the top UFO speaker in the United States, and once he got arrested, I can tell you things about me too. You do something that people recognize as bad, everybody drops it like a hot potato. Oh, I don't know him. Oh, he's bad. He's bad. People that don't even know him read something the government put online. Oh, he stole millions of dollars. Sean was never a millionaire. Never. He made a lot of money selling his book, but he gave so much money back to people. When he did the expos and all that, he would take all the money he got and put it back to the people. I mean, the only money he kept was selling his own books. And he was never a bad person, people. And all these people think he's so bad. No, he discovered Area 51. He shot pictures of what do you call it, the mothership coming in, and brought people there to see it. But he was a top psychic as well. And he prophesied 9/11 in detail. People, we blame
Just going to let
people.
my dog out 1 second. 1 second, I'll be right back.
Okay. People, when we talk about Sean, I knew him personally. I was with him a lot over the years. He's a good person, good-hearted. He doesn't stop talking. He's a great speaker, but he's the one that kind of taught me how to speak. All right. He wrote 5 books since he got out of jail, since a year ago. Go online and pull up his books because he sent them to me, and my computer was hacked, and they're all gone, which is bizarre. But I even bought the audio book, and that disappeared. And Sean, I can't get Sean to send it to me now because he's in no state to do that, and his wife's kind of really in a bad space. But getting back to the topic, Sean talked about aliens and stuff. We didn't agree on a lot of things because he dealt with all the UFO people. He was at every UFO conference. He was the main, when they had the panel, he was always the main speaker on the panel and all that. But he accepted a lot of the things people say. I don't accept much at all. I said, prove it. Convince me what you're talking about. Most people say, well, they said this and they said that. Who cares? They're not here. They're not saying it. And they're not trying to prove it to me. You are. So you're the one that has the proof now to prove to me that what you're telling us is true. But a few of the people that I thought were incredible in the UFO world are all gone. 16 of my friends in the UFO world were taken out. One of them died of old age, which I can't blame. Another one of the most important ones, said they can't take me out until it was a date he gave me. He died 3 weeks later after that date. He was involved with time travel. And basically, they couldn't take him out before that because it would change the cycle of people and everything else. And he was offered millions of dollars to go back in time, which he did. All right. But when he came back, they weren't going to let him live. So people, in the UFO world, which is called MJ12, who control it, very little goes out without them allowing it to. Anything that comes out, even the documents coming out saying we never went to the moon, was released by the government. They were trying to cover up everything they did. And then Japan comes along and says, don't worry, we got all the pictures and everything else. And they said, oh, we lost everything. No, we didn't. So there's always information. If you look hard enough, you can find it. There's a base on the other side of the moon, which I saw. All right? I can tell you all that, but a friend's uncle was the one that went around it and shot it with his own camera. All right? Now, this whole thing with Mars. I mean, I had Laura Eisenhower on my show. She still swears she went to the Mars with the president and things like that. But she has no clue what her grandfather was doing. Eisenhower, all right? She's the granddaughter. The mother never said much to her, and she claims to be majestic. So all these words and all these stories don't mean anything because look where we are in the UFO world right now. We're only proving to ourselves that UFOs are above us. Tina, they're not ready for it to say, hey, aliens are really here. They're really abducting people. They're not ready.
By the time they ask and want your advice and find out what you know, it's going to be too late. You can only tell people to blue in the face or only tell them so much. and then you got to let them find out for themselves.
Tina, what's important is you have direct experience over and over, and so do I. These people in the UFO world never even had an experience, was never next to an alien.
I find it tremendous. I think you're right. I find it tremendous that so many people have reported seeing a UFO across the world. So many, but hardly any of them have come forward to say they've been abducted.
Well, most of them do not remember, and that's why I said I don't want to do hypnosis and all that again, because I get pulled into that energy and all that stuff, and I know that aliens can't touch me, and I don't want to open that doorway.
No.
I've got some really important shit I need to go over with you.
All right.
We can call it a day for today, and we can
All right,
come on early next week.
I'm sorry, people. We got a lot of things going on here. You want to keep talking? I'll let you stay here for a while.
No. I'll see you next week. Give me some
All right,
chance.
people. Sorry, it was a pleasure.
Bye, John. Sorry to finish, John.
AOL.com.
All right,
Thank you.
see you later. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Tommy. Bye.
Bye-bye.